So, hi guys. I'm just going to read out a tweet that I tweeted in 2023. This was around December period, around Christmas in 2023. I tweeted this and I had addressed the governor of Plateau State. So if some of you don't know what 2023 or what happened in 2023, around Christmas period, I think this was the day before Christmas in 2023, some rural communities were attacked in Jos. And a lot of attention was drawn to it. So much was said. Let me just read the tweets. So I started by talking about a lot of the misinformation that had been spreading around that period. And I then said that this is misleading. So the information that was being tweeted was misleading. And I talked about how it detracts from any concerted efforts to unravel the true account of what's happened and a pathway to some sort of solution. I then went on to say I've been collecting first-hand accounts from victims and eyewitnesses on the ground, and unlike what was being propagated widely, these attacks stemmed from an incident which quickly escalated into a barrage of reprisal attacks. So just please take note of these two words, reprisal attacks. I then went on to talk about the fact that I said a nuanced mix of economic hardships brought about by scarce resources, climate change, population increase, ethno-religious friction, political division, amongst others, continue to result in these types of violence. I then said the solution would come from two things: trust and action. I then said these aggrieved communities have lost faith in and are deeply skeptical of the government and security agencies, whom I must add have been alleged by some to participate in such attacks. Now, I wasn't just saying this based on hearsay. I have a friend of mine who I would probably tag to this tweet if she's okay with it. And she has confirmed to me that communities, and this is not a secret, I mean, this is an open secret, that community members have first-hand accounts that these security agents, could be the police, it could be the soldiers who are usually deployed to these communities. And mind you, some of these people are not from the state. Usually when soldiers are deployed to places, they may not be from the state. So that's a whole topic for another day. But essentially, some of these people have been alleged to supply weapons to the people who perpetrate these acts. And so all of these have combined in the lack of trust that these communities have for the government. So I then said they've not just supplying arms, they've also been alleged to participate in these attacks. So these communities feel they have little choice but to take laws into their own hands. And we're hearing a lot of that in if you're watching some of the videos coming out of Rukuba Road today. So I saw VDM was there and he was rallying the people to say, defend yourself, take up arms. If you have to get knives, to arm yourself. If you have to get guns. That's what the polity has deteriorated to, where people are now taking up arms. And we know how that can never ever lead to any kind of concrete solution, because if people are arming themselves, if there's no rule of law, I mean, what polity do we have? So I then went on to talk about the fact that if the government wants to help, it needs to build trust. It needs to appear to be balanced and objective. I then said it needs to act on the demands and solutions put forth by these communities, not religious leaders, not local government chairmen, because a lot of times when you hear that meetings have been called for, it's usually the leaders of these communities, people that are often removed from these attacks, people that really sometimes don't even have the first-hand information. I mentioned earlier that my cousin gets first-hand information before attacks happen. Where are these messages coming from? They're emanating from the phones of some people. There are warnings. I will share them with this video. There are warnings before an attack happens. Before this attack in Rukuba Road happened, there were warnings, there were attacks. There were warnings that attacks were going to happen. They will send messages to say there are rumors that this is going to happen, this is being planned. Who are these people who are sending these messages? Why can't they be traced? Why are they not intercepted before they carry out their gruesome acts? So I went on to say If the government wants to help, it needs to build trust and appear balanced and objective. Then it needs to act on the demands of this. Okay, I think I read that already. And then I said the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang, in a televised address to Arise TV, said that his administration was able to sit down with community leaders. Exactly what I mentioned about community leaders, heads of councils, local government chairmen, councillors, heads of, it's the leaders, which I understand. I do understand that you need to speak to the leaders, but much more importantly, you need to speak to the people who are bearing the brunt of this. They are the ones who you're going to get first-hand accounts from. You're going to hear their grievances firsthand. These leaders, these heads of communities, they're usually often chilling in their houses that are very well secured and protected by these security agencies. They're all well guarded. It's the people who do not have anyone to protect them. They are the ones who are being attacked. The poor people, the people who are very helpless and defenseless. So he said, we've had discussions with community leaders to get to and address the root causes of the crisis. And there you go. These are his exact words. I'm reading in quotes. These efforts have worked, he says. This is the governor of Plateau State, because they, the community, the they he's referring to, they saw our sincerity. They saw our determination to change the narrative. We didn't just come to have this discussion as usual or just for political correctness. We were able to get to some of the issues that touch and affect the people. He went on to add, this recent action, this was the 24th of December 2023, that's the action he's referring to as this recent action, has nothing to do with farmer-herder clash. He says it had nothing to do with religion. It was pure criminality. It was pure terrorism. This is just gruesome murder on the eve of a revered day of remembrance, on the eve of Christmas Eve. I think this was 24th of December 2023. Aden said his remarks are emblematic of how clueless and removed the ruling class is from the lives and conditions of the citizenry. I then said, Dear Governor Caleb Mutfwang, you paint a picture that serves to extol your government and its efforts in addressing a problem that has festered long before you assumed office and one that continues to this very day. I said you label it as terrorism, pure and simple, but labels serve to end all inquiry and interrogation. Labels imply absolutes, leaving little or no room for critical inquiry. Some communities in the same state you govern see you as belonging to one side of a divide. Do better. So, I would like to point attention to something that has been a pattern. Now, in 2023, when this attack happened in these communities, the governor was there. I'll also probably share the videos after this, the screenshots and videos after this video that I'm doing. He was there, and a whole entourage. And after that, security agencies were deployed to that community. Now, I really don't know what the use of that is, because these people who attack, they're not foolish, they're not stupid. They know that attention has been drawn. Everybody's talking about it. Security agencies would be there. They're not going to go and attack those people again. No, they would look for another community that is not expecting them. And mind you, these people that were attacked would also go back and attack. So that's what's been happening in the States. They attack, then they revenge, they look for a time, they plan these attacks. Sometimes if they're gracious enough, they send notices to say, hey guys, we're coming for you guys, be prepared. And these things continue. And these people are just plain lip service. Now the attention of the world has been drawn to it. Now everybody's thinking about it, talking about it. And then after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, everybody has gone back to normal. Then it happens again. Innocent people continuously. Please, leaders, let's do better.